today I am here to talk to you all things about TikTok. Well, kind of all things about TikTok. Truly, I'm not here to really hash out what happens with TikTok and why it is right now in the heat and the limelight, although I have so many opinions about it, and maybe that's going to be another episode for another day. But truly, what I wanted to talk about is the takeaways that we need to take from this TikTok hearing, alongside, the banks collapsing in the Silicon Valley and across the world. Actually, some of the banks did collapse. And the reason that we really need to take heed to what's going on, because this might be a precursor to other things that might be happening in the upcoming years, but more so for our businesses, is truly how do we make our businesses solid even when there are other things that are happening, external factors that are happening around us that can really impact our business. And TikTok's a great example. So before we get into the takeaways, let me give you a little background information on TikTok. So TikTok is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance. That's the parent company from Shanghai. And through the years of TikTok, there have been many countries that have actually either banned part or parcel of the usage of TikTok in their country, or they have completely banned it altogether. So for example, the country of Afghanistan has completely banned TikTok. It doesn't matter. India has actually banned the usage of TikTok also. Now, if somebody is using it, and there are definitely ways around it, which we will talk about the legality of that as well. There are people that use it legally or illegally, some of those countries as well. United States, EU, and some other countries as well. They have limited the usage to TikTok for users on their private phones, but any government phones or government backed up companies or anything like that, they cannot download the app on their phones or their devices. And the reason is ultimately the reason why TikTok is even sitting in the house right now in the heat of 5 hours. The reason that it even happened was because they're afraid that the Chinese government is going to compel TikTok and take a lot of private data. And it would pose as a security threat, national security threat, as well as other threats that could be in the horizon. Meaning there's been, accusations that they are forming their foreign policy based on the trends that are happening on TikTok. Because at the end of the day, a lot of information is extracted, the videos you're making, all those things are owned by TikTok while you're using TikTok. You've given them a license to use that information, just like Facebook, just like Instagram. While you're using that platform, while you've put up your information, your pictures, your videos, all that content that you put up there, they have access to it. They might have limited usage, but they have usage, and they don't need to ask you because they've given that little disclaimer in the beginning, which nobody reads in the terms and conditions and the privacy policy. So this kind of takes me to our takeaways, because there's so many, and I'm kind of going to go through them. But truly, I really, at the end of the day, want to urge you one thing. If anything you take out of this entire thing is this, that you need to make sure that your business is not based and totally dependent on a third party's business. Your business should be able to be running on its own, with its own foundation, and not built solely on somebody else's foundation. So let's talk a little bit about that. So number one, if you are solely relying on TikTok for your marketing or even for building revenue, you need to make sure you've diversified your marketing plan and your revenue building plan. Why? Because anything can happen tomorrow. Today, TikTok is not maybe, under the limelight because they're having their own internal problems that could basically implode a company, but truly they're in the hot seat right now, and a lot of governments are not okay with them. And so if you have a political ban on something, or if you have a government ban on something, what are you going to do? And especially if the ban becomes illegal, what are you going to do? So it's really important to make sure that your marketing plan and your revenue building plan is not solely based on one platform, and that too a platform that's not even owned by you. It's not owned by you. So we need to make sure that you are using other sources like Instagram or Facebook if you're using social media. Which then takes me to number two. Don't put all your eggs in the social media basket. Social media's companies are privately owned companies. They don't have to adhere to the United States government laws all the time unless they're laws that apply to them. Things that apply to the United States, like the Bill of Rights, don't necessarily apply to private companies all the time. And so there's no, imposition on them when there might be some arguments about certain things. And so be really thoughtful about the social media platform that you are using, and also be thoughtful about the fact that they're private companies, and you don't want to put all of your marketing eggs and your revenue building eggs in those baskets. So yes, from TikTok, diversify, but at the same time, don't just diversify within the social media world, diversify outside of the social media world too. I love the social media world. I serve the social media world. I have nothing against it. But what I do have a problem with now, more than anything else than before, is the fact that when we are putting all of our things in one basket, and then that becomes truly very hard. That also becomes where you are dependent on another company for your revenue. You are not able to stand alone. You are not autonomous at the end of the day. Now, another point is that there are, ways around it. Say, for example, TikTok does get banned. What do we do? Well, there are ways around it. Other countries have shown those ways, and other, consumers have shown those ways. One way is to change your VPN and make it so where you can still access TikTok and it doesn't know which country you're from, and so that connection is not broken. Another way, which also could be illegal, so you want to make sure that that's okay to do, and if it's not, then I would absolutely not suggest to do that. And then another way would also be hiring somebody from another country that can access TikTok legally, and then they can manage your TikTok account from abroad, which is also another thing and pretty legit, And then another thing is just using other sources, right? So yes, TikTok's amazing. Yes, TikTok, the algorithms are really great. But then again, just like anything else, if their algorithms change, like Instagram, we know they suck. The algorithms can really be very annoying, and it can debilitate your entire marketing plan overnight. And so we want to make sure, again, that not all of our eggs are in one basket. We have diversified our marketing plan and our revenue building plan. Then ultimately, this takes me to the last thing, which kind of encompasses this entire theme, if you have not noticed it already, is that have your own website. If you don't have a website, you need to build a website. A lot of people who are on Etsy recently had a little blow to them and a little fear as well. They got scared, and they had maybe 12 hours of fear that they had, or maybe not 12 hours, but there was a lot of uncertainty because some of them just have a storefront on Etsy and there's no other storefront that they work out of. I know a lot of creators out there, a lot of people who are making things from home or, from their small business offices. This is your livelihood. This is something that you love to do. You're passionate about it, and you use platforms that give you accessibility. However, if you don't have your own website, you need to do that today. Your website is like your home. If you don't have a home, you become homeless. So similarly, if you don't have a place where people can walk into your business, you become homeless in the business aspect, and you don't want that. You don't want to be dependent 110% on a third party, because ultimately third parties, whether it's Etsy, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Facebook, they have to think about their bottom line. They have to think about their investors. They have to think about their board. They have to think about the people that they have a duty to, a fiduciary duty to also. And it's not just its clients. Clients are there, but ultimately they have to think about their bottom line. And are you thinking about your bottom line? That's my question today, because you need to be thinking about that bottom line. And thinking about the bottom line is not just, how much money can I make today? But truly thinking about your bottom line is, how can I protect my business and make it sustainable? How can I make my business something that's reliable, not just for me, but for my clients, for the people that I'm serving, for my household? If you are depending on third parties all the time to keep that dependency and to keep that stability for you, you're gonna have a hard time, because every time there's an ebb and flow in their business, there's an ebb and flow in your business. And while we are interconnected, we can't deny that it's pretty inherent in the way we all function, but to put all of our dependency for revenue building and for marketing purposes into third parties rather than your own website or your own email list or anything that becomes an asset for your business, that's where the problem lies if we are just 100% solely reliable on third parties. So today I urge you, if you haven't done it yet, if there's any takeaway from this entire TikTok situation, is that don't rely 100% on third parties for your marketing and for your revenue building, strategies, and also position yourself in a stronger way. Build your website out, build an email list for yourself, and build other assets that actually add to the bottom line of your business and add to the value of your business, rather than just saying, I have an, amazing Instagram account. Yes, that is also value added, but tomorrow if Instagram decides to shut down and decides to shut down your account, which happens, they can shut down an account and you can have a really hard time creating a new one or reactivating your current account. How does that work then? What do you do? Similarly, if you are only using Amazon to make your sales, there's a problem there. Amazon can shut you down overnight, and there's no rhyme or reason except for they'll give you a list of whys, and then you'll have to go back and appeal and do all this stuff where Amazon becomes judge and jury at the end of the day. Pick a spot for yourself that's working. I'm not saying don't use them, but don't let them be your only source of revenue. Have a place where you can funnel people into your website, funnel people into maybe other spots where you're also making money, but really have your core base where you can stand independently and not solely relying on other people and third parties that are out there. So this was what our takeaways are from TikTok. If you like this, place a like, share with others, because truly that's the only way this information is going to get out. And if we're really looking closely to TikTok, it's actually a very fascinating case, and there's a lot of sides to all of it. I have a lot of opinions about it too, and I might just get on and talk about those opinions as well. But this is truly what was on my mind, and I wanted to share it with you, that let's start being more thoughtful about our business and smarter with how we are building our marketing plans and our revenue building plans.